Joining me now, former FBI special agent and Fox News contributor Nicole Parker. Nicole, a retired profiler from the FBI, James Clement, you may know him. He said that the profile of this person is an individual who lacks social skills, isolates himself, and only has a loose plan for next steps. React to that and what that means for the investigation right now.
Well, I don't personally know the suspect, and I don't know the exact profile at this point because they haven't been identified, so we haven't had a chance to go through their social media or things of that sort. But I do believe that this person, you know, they may not have done a lot of planning in advance. I think originally there was obviously planning in advance of the offense, but what were they going to do afterwards? Originally, I think some people thought, is this a professional? Is this a professional individual that was hired to do this? And it may have appeared that way because there was one shot straight to the throat and he was dead.
Nicole,
but in the aftermath, we're seeing there were a lot of mistakes.
Can I interrupt you for a second? I just want to give you some new information that we're just getting in right now. President Trump has just told Fox News high degree of certainty that the suspect is now in custody. This is breaking news. I want to get your reaction.
Yes. I'm not surprised. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not surprised. I've been talking to a lot of people, and what I can tell you, Cheryl, is that people have been working around the clock in law enforcement, and I knew that this individual would be taken into custody. Let's hope that this is the actual suspect. I know that there were some other individuals that were taken in. I think that there's a very strong, feeling that this is the right guy. And it was because, in my opinion, the help of the public. It was because of all of those tips that poured in, that Governor Cox said 7,000 tips poured in. And we in law enforcement, very good at our jobs. But I still say the most important intelligence is human intelligence. And there was information that came in, all of these videos that came in, video surveillance. They had experts from the FBI headquarters and all around the country coming into Salt Lake and the Orem area to review that video surveillance, people that were piecing it together, piece by piece by piece, to give the public enough information to say, this is what the individual looks like. Now, do you recognize him? Do you know him? Give us any tips that you have. I am very looking forward to the next press conference from law enforcement to give us exactly what it was that tipped them off and were able to make the conclusion as to who this individual was. But as I was saying earlier before that announcement you just made, this person did a lot of planning, but they weren't that smart. They thought they could beat the system. I knew that they weren't going to beat the system because in the aftermath of the offense, they made many, many rookie mistakes. And this was not a professional, clearly. And, this individual tried to blend into the crowd. They caused absolute chaos. It looked like maybe a college-age student, somewhere in that range, just running out. And I think the fact that he jumped off of the building, I don't know if that was part of the original plan. That's a pretty long jump. But he did it, he jumped down, and he just bolted out of there. But again, in this day and age, you're not going to get very far because there is video surveillance everywhere. And that is so key and crucial in law enforcement solving our investigations. But again, Cheryl, without the public, I guarantee you, there would not be someone in custody right now.
And that is why this is one of the first things I brought up the morning after Charlie Kirk's assassination, political assassination, is that was a college campus where there was 3,000 students and participants out there. They all had their phones out. I think the question mark going forward, Nicole, for these events is the issue of security. And how do we make sure that this doesn't happen again? Is that possible, Nicole, in your opinion? And also, what can we learn about how these large-scale events should be put on and to make sure that people are safe, whether it is a political activist or the president of the United States, to be clear, or any official, any senator, anyone, because we've come to a point, we've had President Trump has been there's been 2 assassination attempts on his life. Ryan Ruth is in court right now this week. Congressman Steve Scalise, Nicole, he almost died on a baseball field. Congresswoman Gabby Giffords in Tucson, Arizona, she almost died just doing their job, which is going out and being with the public and interacting with voters. And that is our freedom and our right. How do we balance these 2 issues, Nicole?
That's a very, very good question, Cheryl, and it's something that keeps us up at night in law enforcement, and especially, those that are tasked, for instance, with the Secret Service, providing protective detail. Obviously, Charlie Kirk did not have that, but There is that balance, right? Because we always want to keep our heads on a swivel. And that's one piece of advice I always give to any human being. All lives matter, whether you're the president or whether you're a regular civilian. Your life matters, and you should be able to go about freely in this country and not be in fear of speaking up. Charlie Kirk should have had the right to go out and have public debate, respectfully talking to individuals, and not be, in fear that he was going to get blown up in his throat. It's absolutely disgusting and evil. But in this particular instance, I think there are a lot of things that Utah Valley University in particular needs to look at. How did that individual ever get onto the roof of that building? And we saw a similar thing in Butler, Pennsylvania. Obviously, it was not a university, but people getting onto roofs. There's got to be more eyes on, the area, setting up perimeters. When you're having an event, those areas need to be swept, whether it's Secret Service or whether it's Utah Valley University Police Department. But it is very daunting. I mean, we talk about Steve Scalise. He's at a baseball game. I mean, you can't do surveillance everywhere you go and have people on top of buildings and doing, security for you just to walk out into the regular public. And so it's the world that we live in now, Cheryl. But I do believe that there are advanced technologies out there and systems. And for instance, with what happened at Utah Valley University, I know for a fact that there are security systems and camera systems that actually do detect motion. And so if there's motion in an area that there should not be, such as on a roof, someone would be immediately alerted, and that could have helped in this instance. But again, there's that fine balance: safety and security and freedom. We don't want to let evil win and let them take away our voices and say, you know what, you can't go anywhere, you can't be out in public, you've got it. That's not the American way. But at the same time, you need to be safe and secure. And so I do believe that this will be another measure that everyone will take, whether it's schools, public areas, universities. They will be ratcheting up their security systems, both human security and video surveillance technology. There's some amazing technology out there, and that's what we need to be using.
Nicole Parker, again, thank you for joining us as this investigation continues. And again, President Trump just telling Fox News that there is a suspect in custody, Nicole Parker. Also, President Trump telling Fox News that he hopes the shooter gets the death penalty. To be clear, the death penalty is still in place in the state of Utah. And we heard that from Governor Cox when this unfortunate event with the assassination of Charlie Kirk happened on Wednesday. He was very quick to point that out. The death penalty is in place in Utah. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We've got a lot of breaking news. Stay with Fox Business. We'll be right back.